Food for thought. Do not lose yourself within your work. Do not lose yourself to achieve your goals. Do not lose your inner child that you once were. To strive for your ambitions, to sacrifice so many things to get for what you want. Or to get what you want. I think that's what I meant. To get what you want. Because I assume you're a very ambitious person. And I assume that you're very much a driven person. That we both have things that we want to achieve. And that we both have things that we want to strive for. But we also have to reflect upon what we're losing and what we're sacrificing. Do not get me wrong. There are things that you're going to have to sacrifice and be okay with. That's just how life is. You're going to have to sacrifice to get what you want. You're going to have to sacrifice your time. You're going to have to sacrifice, at times, your happiness and your sleep and all the things in between to get what you want. But I think it comes down to understanding what you're willing to give up and then what you're willing to not give up, and having the things that you set boundaries for. So for example, I have a very heavy schedule, and an example of my non-negotiables are I make sure that I eat when I'm hungry 3 meals a day that are wholesome, that also sustain me throughout my day, and that will allow me to have peak performance both physically and in the classroom. And then another non-negotiable is having at least some sort of exercise, whether it be going to the gym, going running. We have a pool on campus, I might go swim or go bike, Those are my non-negotiables. Yes, I'm trying to add in some more non-negotiables and getting more sleep. But it's if you can't say no for yourself, then how are you going to say no to anything and everything? I think one of the things that I've realized is and even just listening to other people, is that you have to value the things that you do have. You have to value the things that you genuinely do have. And even though at times you might feel like you are time insufficient, you're not abundant of time, you have to use the quality of time that you do have. Because I think it's so important to do that. And when you literally can't prioritize yourself because you have so many things going on, you have to find that time where you can prioritize yourself. When you eat, and how you move your body, and how you sleep. Even if you don't sleep for more than 5 or 6 hours a night, make sure it's good restful sleep. Make sure you're not on your computer before you go to sleep. Give your mind time to shut off. That's one thing that's I find to be very helpful and useful to get a good night's rest, is to turn off all my electronics, especially turn on blue light, or to turn them on to yellow light or night mode. My glasses that I have, they have built-in blue light blocking glasses, but it's not some that you can find on the internet or something, or on Amazon. I think those are really helpful, but I think it's so important to prioritize something, because you can't lose yourself. Because do not get me wrong, you could absolutely lose yourself with everything. I feel like it's a very common situation to strive for what you want and to get it, and then to feel your purpose is over. Literally, that was kind of me last semester. Was I worked super duper hard to get the grades that I wanted, and I got the grades, and then I went back home, and I went away from campus, and was like suffering that long, studying that hard, throwing that much effort, blood, sweat, and tears and time into a numerical value. That just wasn't it. That wasn't it for me. And so I feel like I sacrificed a lot. And do not get me wrong, I'm very glad that I did, and that I took school very seriously, and I was able to get the outcome that I wanted. But by the end of it, I was like, well, I got that. What am I supposed to do now? And I like lost myself within the school. And I know a friend of mine, we literally just got lunch, and she was telling me the exact same thing that she was experiencing, that she like lost everything and put her everything into school, and she was left with nothing. She literally was a shell of herself, she said. Like, she like described in the way. And that is, I feel like, one thing that like I hope you guys don't have to experience, or like through listening to this, that you can avoid that. And I think a few signs is like feeling overwhelmed, or like having time and then not knowing what to do with it. Like having the time that you've wanted for so long, and then feeling stressed that you don't know what to do and you want to go back to the thing that you've been doing. Like, it's very easy for me to like get super, like, literally it was like Friday or something, like yesterday, and I got out of class and I was like, oh, tomorrow, or yesterday, it was like Thursday, and I was like, after Friday I'm gonna like get off campus and go do some things. And like Friday happened, and then like I have time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? Like, I want to go be doing this, but I have homework to do. But that homework didn't need to be done in that minute. And like that was just something that was comfortable for me, like an automatic, like, don't need anything, I can just go and do homework. Like I can just like switch on to like doing homework. And like it was so like, I guess like logically I knew that I can go do that and I don't need to do my homework right now. But like mentally it was just like all over the place, because it's like you train yourself to work through your emotions to get what you want, and so you can just work through it and just go for your goals. But then I also think it's important to remember the things that you like to do and the things that you enjoy to do, and to live for a little bit. Like, I know it might not be very easy, or even if you have the time to do it, like I think it's so important even to like block out like an hour a week. Like at the minimum, if you cannot afford to take time during the week, at least try on the weekend. Maybe on a Saturday, maybe on the Friday, maybe even on a Sunday, depending upon what day works for you, to take the time to have a break for yourself. Like, literally force yourself to go to like, I don't know, Barnes & Noble, go to the mall, go to like a plant store, go to the library, go for a walk, go to a museum. Like, it's so much easier for me to tell you these things that before you put action to it, you know? Like, I can tell you to go run a mile, but until you do it yourself, you will not know what that's like. And like, after like that Friday, after I got out of class, like my head was like, I was like all over the place. I was like, I have so much time, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. But then I was like, just slow down, you're fine. Like, you can go do that thing off campus. Like, it's fine. Like, things don't have to be perfect. Like, you don't have to get the homework done now. You have Saturday and Sunday to get it done. Like, do not stress. Like, it's fine. And I think it's just like taking me time to like figure that out, like to keep myself in check and to keep myself centered, and not to get too focused on my goals, like trying to get good grades, but then also like still being studious to get what I want. Because literally finals are coming up, not this week, but the following week, and I'm like, oh, there's light at the end of the tunnel. But then I'm like, oh shoot, there's also like finals. But I don't know. You just gotta figure it out. You just gotta figure out life. Yeah. And like figure out what works for you. Because what works for me does not necessarily mean it works for you. Because I really like to go to like Barnes and Noble or like the plant store or something, or like just go for like a walk off campus, or like I don't know. There's like a lakefront, I guess. Not really. River. I don't know. A big body of water, whatever you want to call it, and it like goes through my town, and so that I can like walk next to it or something. So I don't know. I think it just takes time to like find the balance of what you want, and know. I think it's also so important to know what you want to do from the standpoint of with your free time, because you know what you want to do with your free time to fill it up with the things that you want to do to achieve your goals. But I think it's also important to listen to what your heart and your soul want to do too, because yes, you are your goal. Yes, you have ambition, and yes, you are a motivated and disciplined individual, but you also are a person deep down who wants a break, that needs a break. And even if it's just for a little bit of time, you deserve a break, because you will experience burnout and stress and overwhelming, and those feelings are not fun. Those feelings are not what you want, especially when you have been working your butt off for I don't know how long, because you are human, and that's fine. And it's okay to take a break. That you do not have to be Superman or Superwoman or the super individual. That you can take a break. And that you don't need to be, you don't have to be or define, or I should say, you don't have to be, or you don't have to be defined by your work. You don't have to necessarily be defined by your vocation, because sometimes people's calling or vocation is not their job. Like, one of my professors said that his friend is a lawyer, or like a patent lawyer or something. I don't even know. But his vocation and his calling is to scuba dive. He loves to scuba dive. And he is able to have his job to support that hobby and his true vocation. Like, I don't know, I just keep thinking of like vocare, like the Latin word for like to be called or something. That we all have our own calling, and that we might lose ourselves, we might lose sight of our vocation, but in the end you'll find it again. You'll find that true love that you have for your inner child. Like, I think it's so important that you keep the spirit of your inner child, because like, just remembering the small things, like literally out of like a whimsical thing, like me and my friend went to Petco, and like we went to the fish, and it reminded me of going to Petco when I was a kid, and like going looking at the fish, and then I loved looking at the fish, and like wanting a salt tank, and like having a big aquarium. Like, I don't know, that just like reminded me of like my childhood, and it just like reminded me of like not to take life so seriously, and that's fine. Like, this moment won't last forever, and so to enjoy it, even though it sucks. Like, school is not the funnest thing in the world, but it's just a time, place, and that like, I don't know, maybe from like 20, 30, even 10 years from now, I'll be able to look back and be like, wow, I really enjoyed college. I don't know, it's just like stuff like that, it just kind of like makes me rethink that it's just like, no man, it's not that deep. Like, it's fine, we'll get through it. Like, it's just kind of like what's like keeping me centered, keeping me grounded, and like not allowing myself to get too serious about school, because by the end of it, I'll be moving on to something else, and I shouldn't set my goals so short term. Like, like the same professor, he told me, he was like, set your goals from a long-term perspective, longer than college, longer than getting a career, because there is no doubt that you will not be able to achieve it, or like that you won't not be able to achieve it. Like there is no doubt that you won't graduate, you know, like you will 110% graduate. That's what I'm trying to get at. And that you will find a job, and that you will find whatever you're supposed to find. But there's that thing that's after that, and after that, and after achieving those things that you need to look forward to, so then you don't get stopped at these points from the sense of having such low thoughts, or not thoughts, but like such short-term goals that you feel that are like easily accomplished, you know? Because I think his name's like Ali Abdaal, like Ali, I think, and then Abudal, Abdal. Might be butchering it, I apologize, but he said that your dopamine can be absolutely changed, and that like from the perspective of the dopamine of like you can get a really high dopamine hit and you feel like bliss and like great and everything like that, and then you hit a tank, and like that hill after that high peak is way lower than like, it's like, let's say this is like your dopamine, and like it's like right here, like where my chin is, and like afterwards, and then it's like where my hand is at. Like it's lower than the initial point because it's here. And like I don't know the science behind it, but that's just how he described it. And it's like being cautious and being aware that you do not set your like person or your being at that short-term goal, because once you achieve it, you don't know what you're going to do next. And that's where I'm kind of getting into the importance of to not be so focused on your current goal from the perspective of identifying with it. Be very focused with your goal to achieve it, but do not identify with it. Long story short, be your own person, and do not lose yourself within your ambition, because you are more than your ambition. Food for thought.